All right, welcome back. The government has faced the wrath from several quarters after Finance Minister Arun Jaitley yesterday announced that 60% of the employee contribution to Provident Fund will be taxed on withdrawal. After which Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha clarified the issue on our show earlier. He also said a formal clarification will be issued soon.
How are you going to kickstart, as many are asking, the growth and investment cycle? There are people out there, viewers out there, the biggest concern remains jobs. In urban India, there's agrarian distress, which is the biggest concern. In rural India, in urban India, it is how are you going to create productive employment? What is the big idea that this budget has given, which suggests that the growth and investment cycle will actually be kickstarted, that private investment will be encouraged and jobs will be created?
Three big ideas as far as jobs are concerned, Rajdeep. Number one, what we've done for Startup India, Stand Up India, and what we've done for the startup ecosystem. A massive amount of work has been done here, and we think that our entrepreneurial, fast-growing companies are going to create lots and lots of jobs. One. Two, if you look in detail as far as the tax proposals are concerned, we have really motivated and incented Make in India. And of course, our expectation is that whether it's electronics manufacturing, civil aviation, textiles, we're going to see lots and lots of jobs coming in because of what we've done for Make in India. And number three, our FDI policies and our ease of doing business efforts are already yielding fruit in a world where FDI is actually declining, Rajdeep. FDI around the world is declining. FDI in India has grown 40%. But you can see that the ease of doing business, everything we're doing in FDI is really encouraging money to flow.
So you say ease of doing business, but there are so many stalled projects. In fact, your father, Yashwant Sinha, former finance minister, writes about this, that he is worried that there is the problem of stalled projects. Now, many of these stalled projects are partly due to the crisis in the banking sector. There is a sense that maybe this budget hasn't gone far enough. Could you have gone much further in perhaps signaling the restarting, the rebooting in a sense of the Indian economy? Has this budget really rebooted the Indian economy, or have you played safe?
There is no crisis in the banking sector, Rajdeep. We have been working very closely with the Reserve Bank of India for the last year and a half to strengthen our banking sector. The fact that we have forced the recognition through the asset quality review of the NPAs is very good news, because we're working hand in hand with RBI to ensure that governance and management reforms, asset recognition, and then finally consolidation happens. This is all very good news for the banking sector. We have also strengthened the hands of the banks as far as the resolution process is concerned. All of these are being done right now in a way that will genuinely make our banks a lot more competitive. Now, when it comes to stalled projects, I'll point out that, for example, in the road sector, there were 70 stalled projects. 42 of those have gotten going. There were issues around gas for power plants. We've resolved the gas issues as well. You remember Dabhol? Dabhol is now working. And what we are also doing as far as the steel industry is concerned is getting a number of stalled projects that are going as well. Many of these projects were stalled for very good and in some ways very complicated reasons. And of course, these are the projects that we are monitoring very carefully, very closely, and we are showing great progress as far as these stalled projects are concerned.
My final question, you've said the big idea from what I can see is that you've tried to merge the interests of Bharat with India. That seems to be the sort of soundbite that you've tried to give. But there is a sense, Mr. Sinha, that for all that you've tried to achieve, investors, the markets, no one seemed very enthusiastic today, post-budget. Why is that? Have you set expectations low consciously in this budget? Why is it that there isn't greater enthusiasm?
Rajdeep, you're wrong. Let me just correct you with respect for the facts, because they speak for themselves. If you look at what happened to the rupee today, it's strengthened very substantially. If you looked at the bond markets today, the yield on the bond market dropped very substantially. This has enthused bond investors. It has enthused forex traders. Certainly, as far as the equity markets are concerned, we cannot go by just one day. We have to see what the longer term trends are. Ultimately, as far as the equity market is concerned, the equity market is looking for earnings growth, and the stimulus that we are providing, the impetus we are providing to the urban economy, the formal economy, the modern economy, which is the whole India side of the equation, as well as what we're doing for Bharat, and the impetus we are providing there will result in significant earnings growth in the long run, and therefore I think the equity markets will also do well. But in general, as far as investors are concerned, as I told you, FDI is picking up, stalled projects are moving along, and I think there is significant confidence and significant reassurance with our economic policies. Thank you very much. Good night.
Mr. Sinha, I have 10 numbers in front of me, and I'm going to ask you to rate your budget on a scale of 10 so that I can put it up to the viewers. I know I hope you won't give it a 10 on 10, but short of that, any number you pick and I'll put it up. What are you giving on a scale of 10?
Rajdeep, I unfortunately do have to leave, but let me just say one thing very quickly.
No, what's the number? Give me a number.
I think I'm one of the people who, the number is 8.5 out of 10 is what I would give it.
Okay, 8.5. Okay, I'm going to put an 8 and a 9, and I'm going to say 8.5 is what you've given. So you're saying 8.5. You won't give it a 10. So obviously you're still short of what you'd really have liked to give it.
8.5 is it.
Okay, 8.5 out of 10. Jayant Sinha, appreciate your joining us and telling us that you believe this is the budget which has brought Bharat and India in a sense closer together. Thanks very much for joining us here on the Make or Break
You're very
Budget
welcome.
2016.
That's all the time we have in this bulletin of first.
This happens only in India, and again. This is one more example of lawmakers caught on camera shaming their profession.
पैसे वाले बाबू मेरा बजट बना दो, पैसे वाले बाबू मेरा बजट बना दो, बजट बना दो, बजट बना दो, पैसे वाले मेरा बजट